all done. Now I'm going to teach you about what actually abortion is. Abortion, it's not a pretty topic. This is going to get kind of graphic and it's kind of ugly to hear. But the point is that it happens and nobody wants us to talk about it. But this is reality. And so I'm going to go through the different methods of abortion. You know, and I even think about it, you know, even women who are having this done, they probably don't really want to know what's going on because it is so, you know, you're in such a delicate place as it is to have it done. So, okay, so from about 5 to 9 weeks, see the baby is super tiny, 5 to 9 weeks, they do RU486, which is the pill. And then you take the pill at the doctor's office, and I told you that the egg implants on the uterine wall. Well, what the pill does is it causes a hormone that starves the baby, because that's how you get fed. The baby gets fed is from the uterine wall, and it keeps the baby from getting fed. So the baby starves to death. And then the baby's just there, a dead baby, so they have to evacuate it from your body. So they give you a second pill to take home. And that pill is, you take it home and you take it. It can take days, it can take weeks, or not at all. And if it does happen, it's severely painful, and there's a lot of blood. And usually these girls are by themselves, either in the shower or on a toilet, and they have these little babies. And to me, it's just so dramatic because, you know, going through that all alone by yourself, and it's like, it's not like you go back to the clinic afterward. The next is about 12-week-old babies, so this is 3 months along. They do suction aspiration, and what it is, it's like a long tube that they insert into the uterus, and they suck the little baby out. Now, they do it up to, it's up to like 12 weeks. So, like, this is 10 weeks. So 12 weeks is this big. Look at this. That they suction out the baby from this size into it, and it comes into this little jar, so obviously you can still see the feet and the hands and the little toes and all the little features are there. Next is about 15 weeks, so it's about 3.5 months. This is pretty gnarly because they have this long spoon, and it's like this knife that comes and curves around. And so it's like a spoon with an opening with sharp edges, and they insert that into the uterus, and they first numb the mom, but you got to understand, anything that they're doing, numbing the mom, but it doesn't cross through the placenta barrier, which is the little sac that the baby's in, and they carve the baby into pieces, and then remove the body parts. The next one is 24 weeks, so this is 6 months old. I mean,
this one's 26.
Yeah, so it's close to that size, and it's a lot like the DNC, but they actually take these long forceps in and they twist and rip body parts off of the baby, like the arms and the legs, and then they actually hand them over to a nurse, and the nurse sets them on this platter, and they have to actually piece the baby together, the body pieces together, in order to make sure that everything was taken out. The next one, it's partial birth abortion. There are a lot of different ways, but we're trying to make this quick and painless, which is difficult to be painless.
Yeah.
But partial birth abortion, it's supposedly not supposed to be done, but I think isn't there debates on if it's actually happening. Now,
it's technically legal in Oregon, but there's a national.
Because if you look it up, it says like 24 weeks, you can have an abortion up to 24 weeks, unless medically advised. But the people who are deciding if you're medically able to have this abortion are the doctors who are actually doing the procedures. So they get to decide if they think you should medically be able to get it done. So they put the baby, they do a lot of procedures, but basically they turn the baby upside down with its little feet coming out first. They take the baby out, they then put forceps, like a scissors, into the back of the skull and open it up, and then they put a long metal pole that sucks out the brains of the baby and actually collapses the skull. So then they're able to completely deliver the baby, and then it just gets put in a trash can or, handled, not like a human being. Okay, now, I know it sounds really gnarly and it's really gross. That's because it is. It's really bad. It's very physically hard on the body, and it's also very emotionally hard on the women. You know, it's like we talked about before, they suffer in silence for years because of this. All right, now, I know that's hard to say, it's hard to talk about, but Alicia's going to say a little bit more on, let's see, where are you going next?
Yep, Roe v. Wade, I think, really quick.
Why? Because, you know, to me, I think, why is this legal? You know, how can this possibly be legal? But she's going to tell you.
Well, in 1973, the Supreme Court ruled that it was legal to have abortions. And, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, like my cousin, for example, you know, you can justify being able to have an abortion because, you know, there's so many reasons. Like, you know, she was young and in high school, and she didn't want other people to know that she had done something that, you know, she shouldn't have been doing. There's a lot of justifications, but also just the fact that, well, it's legal, so it's fine. But we have to remember that, you know, look at our history. Slavery was legal. Did that make it morally right? Women used to not be allowed to vote. So this is, you know, there's things in the history books, you know, the Jewish Holocaust, the Holocaust with Hitler in Germany and World War II. This is like our moment in time in history. Like, this is huge. The world has never seen so many, you know, these kind of numbers with this amount of people dying, you know, and, sorry, but I think that it's kind of like it's up to us to kind of wake up and be like, hey, this is not right. And, you know, we're kind of hoping that you guys will be able to leave with some information and maybe talk about it with your friends. I think the most important thing, though, is to maybe, you know, to not necessarily listen, you know, not take everything that Wendy and I said, but go home and read in your Bibles and see what is God telling you about this topic. You know, pray about it. And I think a really important thing is being super loving around this topic. It's so sensitive, and like we said, it affects so many people. I think everyone here knows people who've had an abortion, and so they're hurting, you know, and we need to fight this battle with love more than anything.
Yeah, I just want to tell a quick thing about love. These girls are deeply wounded, and they are desperate and believe that they don't have any other options. You know, we care about the babies, but we also care about the mothers and the fathers. I know there's a lot of guys out here tonight that have been through the abortion process. We as humans, well, you know, guys go through it too. They do. We as humans, especially Christians, need to have empathy for people who are in pain, no matter what the cause has been. You know, and then we talked, you know, it's important to see, like, Gracie, you know, Gracie got an abortion. So we don't want anybody to hate on Gracie and give her dirty looks when she goes by and, you know, talk smack about her. We want you to smile at her and befriend her and give her information about where she can heal and what can happen, if she even wants to talk about it. But just be kind is our whole point. That's very special, important to us and the organizations that we deal with.
I'll say a couple more things. Maybe I'll end with this verse, Deuteronomy 30:19. And